Alright everybody, we're going to do a big batch of peroxide. I got half of my next beaker shipment in. It got a nice big old 600 milliliter beaker, and I thought it'd be kind of nice to test it out on another batch of good old hydrogen peroxide. I'm going to put in let's do 500. Let's do 500 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide in here. We'll reduce the volume down to 50 milliliters, and theoretically, since we have reduced the volume by a factor of 10, we will have increased the concentration by a factor of 10. So we'll have about 30%, and we'll be able to do a lot of cool stuff with it, which I think I'll do in this video. So stay tuned for that. But here we go. 500 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide. This is the biggest batch I've ever done at once. So this is pretty cool. Oh yeah, look at all that. Look at all that peroxide. Oh my goodness. You know what? Let's just end it there. We got about one full bottle, so theoretically we should have 47.3 milliliters left over. So roughly 50 to equal about 30% concentration. All right, let's get this hot plate going. Oh, look at all that peroxide. Oh my days. All right, everybody. So while we're waiting for it to boil off, I thought it would be cool if we did a small little test here. Now, I'll probably make a more detailed video on this and longer video on this later, but just real quick, I thought I'd mention this. I've been trying various ways of cutting down the cost, and every little bit helps. So I have been trying to get my catalyst back. I don't even know if it's technically considered a catalyst, but potassium permanganate. I should probably be more familiar with the chemistry, but I'm not. I'll do some research on it. But I'm attempting to get back my potassium permanganate after using it. Now, I don't know if that's a good idea or not, because there's probably some other gunk and other chemicals in here that are not potassium permanganate, stuff that has actually reacted with the hydrogen peroxide. But I thought it'd be a fun little thing nonetheless. And I haven't taken any measurements. This is just a small test, see if I can actually do it. But what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of this in here into a test tube. And then we're going to pour some, just 3% hydrogen peroxide, because the batch ain't done yet. It's almost there. But 3% for now. And we're going to see what happens when that goes in there. If it starts reacting again, that's perfect, because that means I can actually recover my potassium permanganate, which will save costs. Probably, it may not seem like a lot, but it'll probably build up over time. Now, whether I can do that or not with the rocket is going to be another question. All right, here we go. 2, 1. Beautiful. That is exactly what I want to see. Awesome. I should probably be wearing gloves while doing this. Leather's fine. I'll hold it up so you can see what the heck's going on. There you go. Beautiful. I'm just gonna touch it. Yep. But it's a bit warm. It's not like boiling, but it's a bit warm. Okay, that's awesome. That means that the process does work. I can recover the potassium permanganate. Now, it may not be as pure as the other stuff, but it still works, as I've shown here. Okay, we're gonna put a little bit more in. I want to try this with the 30% stuff once it's done. Yeah. There you go. Awesome. So, that is probably what I'll end up doing. Just to, again, save on chemicals here. I could always end up recovering the potassium permanganate. And since I've got a limited supply, and I still have a lot more tests to do during the rocket project, I think it'll be a good idea to just reuse this potassium permanganate for my tests instead of having to pour in new amounts every single time. Because I'm on a limited budget, man. I don't have like tons of money to spend. So real quick, I'll show you what I'll be doing. Here's my plan. So after each catalyst test, what I'll do is I'll store each catalyst in its own separate bottle. Catalyst, not necessarily meaning catalyst necessarily, but whatever is speeding up the reaction of the hydrogen peroxide decomposition. For instance, I've got this bottle, which is polyethylene. Not polyethylene. Whatever the full name is. It's PET plastic, or PETE. This bottle is. So what I can do, actually this bottle's dirty, so I won't use that bottle, screw that, but the point still stands. I will take one of these bottles, and I will pour in the leftover liquid and catalyst after each test. And I'll put them in our own separate little bottle, say this one. Then, once it's at a certain level, I can dump this into a beaker, boil off the liquid, and then scrape out the remaining solids. And then I can reuse that catalyst over and over and over and over, and save on, well, more catalyst. Now, there are a few problems, obviously. One, actually getting all the material in there, and then getting all the material back out. So I'm gonna lose some still, but the point is, I'll be losing way, way less if I just threw out the liquid, you know. So that is now my next plan. We are going to cut down costs a little bit, and again, I'll probably do a video in the future where I actually take some measurements and get the actual numbers in. But it should be good. All right, the batch of hydrogen peroxide is done. And as you can see, we have quite a bit here. It might not seem like a lot, but that is the biggest batch I've ever done at once. And that's only because that I finally got my beaker shipment. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, so before I end this video, we're going to try a few more tests with our recovered potassium permanganate. Alright, so here we go. Just like so. And I'm going to put a little bit into this tiny beaker. So there you go, we got a little bit of that 30% hydrogen peroxide. Now this is going to be very vicious, so get ready. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, look at that go. Look at that go. My goodness, that is concentrated right there, folks. Look at that. That's a beauty. Whoo! Notice I'm wearing gloves too, and quite heavy-duty gloves, just because this stuff will bleach your skin if you get it on you. But as long as you don't do that, and even if you do get it on, you can always wash your hands. You'll be perfectly fine. There you go. There's that peroxide in action. Put the rest of it in. Oh, boys. Look at that. Look at that beauty. That's going. That is rocket fuel potential. And that's exactly why I'm using this, because it has the potential to be rocket fuel. So, that's the plan. I mean, if I put a rubber stopper on there, that thing would blow. Like, honestly. So. Alright, but as I mentioned before, I'm going to put this into the small beaker. Actually, no, I'm going to put it into that little bottle over there once it's cooled off, of course. And then we'll save it for later, then we'll eventually try to recover it all when we're done. Oh my god, that's still going though. Holy. That is interesting. That test tube is probably real hot right now. I can see the particles jumping around too. That's pretty cool. Alright, starting to settle down now. Rate of bubbling is decreasing substantially. Alright, yep, it's settling down. I would feel how hot that is, but there's probably some peroxide on the side that would not be good to touch. Okay, but here's the test tube. And there's the liquid. Maybe I can feel how hot it is through the glove. Not very. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna assume that's very hot right now. And basically now, there's like no bubbling. So that gives you an idea of how long it lasts about with a small amount of peroxide. I'm sure if we added a ton, it would go off quite a lot, so. Alright, but I think that is where I'm gonna end it today. Stay tuned where I do another one where I do the math on the potassium permanganate recovery. But thanks for watching, and look forward to some new rocket videos.